Guten Tag, meine Damen und Herren.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Jürgen Waldorf of licht.de, the ZVEI, the Trade Association Lighting, and I'd like to open an array of presentations regarding lighting and refurbishment. The second presentation, unfortunately, was cancelled, but Mr. Nitschke will then take over. So, phasing out the fluorescent lamp. Maybe not everybody knows about it. We have 125 members from the lighting industry, and when I hear in discussions, many people know about it, but we still have customers and colleagues who have not heard about this, that starting next year, one lighting fixture will no longer be available, which is the fluorescent lamp. Now, let's start. What does phasing out mean? Basically, it means that from a specific point of time, none of these products may be sold in the EU, and making available on the market means any sale or free of charge availability of an electronic feature to be used in the market, on the market of the EU. But really, bringing it into the market means a first-time availability of an electric feature. This is what this refers to. Who is allowed to really bring it to the market? And suppliers, importers, or representatives of manufacturers outside of the EU are entitled to place such a feature on the market. So they are the recipients of this directive, so to say. They have to abide by this new regulation. Phasing out, this means that a product from a specific point in time laid down by law may no longer be sold. And there is always some confusion. We see this from letters we receive. This does not mean that you may no longer sell a product which has been placed on the market. So once it is available for retailers, you may continue selling it and no longer being allowed to use it. This is not true either. So fluorescent lamps that you already have may be used also in future. And as a matter of fact, the question is, from when is it no longer allowed to place a feature on the market? For many years, we have the Eco-Design Directive. Energy efficiency is one aspect here, so minimum requirements regarding the energy efficiency of light sources. And if you no longer comply with these, you may no longer place such features on the market. But there are other parameters included as well, for example, flickering in case of standard light fixtures, or color rendering, minimum requirements regarding color rendering. And in addition to this, and not many people knew about this, was a material ban. So according to ROHS, specific products which include certain materials may no longer be placed on the market. This was an issue some years ago when it came to lead. Many manufacturing processes had to be changed. Mercury is another of these materials. And in the lighting industry, we had a lot of lamps, including lead, for example, also lamps that were supposed to save energy, they included mercury, and they were no longer allowed all of a sudden. So sometimes EU makes life difficult for manufacturers and users. There are always some exceptions, however, when it comes to specific directives. Phasing out luminaires has been an issue for quite some time. It started in 2009 with you know this with the incandescent lamp, and people said, if we no longer have this light, this is very, very bad for people because we no longer have a healthy light. But it was then continued, this development. New products were added, and in 2015, the IRQL lamp was prohibited, then high voltage lamps in 2021, T2, T5 lamp, a low volt halogen, and halogen lamps with more than 2,700 lumens. In 2019-2020, then there was a requirement regarding light sources for separate devices. The EU wanted to make sure that people save energy, and via the requirements regarding energy efficiency, the TH lamp was supposed to be phased out starting next year. Next, environmentally harmful materials such as lead, mercury, and so on. Such materials had been banned quite some time ago, and for several products on part of the industry and also on part of the users, you may request exceptions, which are then granted for a maximum period of 5 years. And if there is no replacement or new technology, and in case of UV lamps, for example, you need this specific lighting technology, including mercury, the Commission will look into the requests, and there can be another exception for another period of 5 years or for less than 5 years, and that's the end of exceptions. And we have an association in Europe. Our association is a member association here. We asked for certain exceptions. Lighting Europe here is the European associations, but the Commission did not take any action. But then after 5 years, the Commission gave us or granted the exception. And this is what it looks like. You can download this table at light.de. You see the dates starting 2022 this year. And what is important are the dates starting next year. What you see here is on the basis of ROHS, almost all compact fluorescent lights will leave the market. Circular T5 lamps, linear fluorescent lights, T5 and T8, and a week later, via the Eco-Design Directive, here ROHS overtook the Eco-Design Directive. High voltage and low voltage halogen lamps will leave the market, and some other lamps as well. And I would like to refer you to the homepage of licht.de, where you see a good overview, and you can download a lot of information there. It's rather complicated. EU made it very complicated because depending on type of lamp, there are different directives. Directive 2922/274 through 284 show the details, and you can tell by the compact fluorescent light, depending on the parameters, all of a sudden you have a gap of 6 months here. We do not really understand why. But, well, this is what Brussels decided. And there is also a paper by our association, ZVEI, showing more exceptions for fluorescent lamps. On the left-hand side, you see the respective sections, and it refers specifically to UV lamps, but also lamps for other general lighting purposes and for specific lighting purposes. Well, this can mean anything. No specific definition. For example, if you inspect surfaces, if you have calibrated lamps, they include a lot of mercury, and this is still allowed, even though they include more mercury than regular fluorescent lights. And emergency lamps. So theoretically, you could place on the market a T8 lamp, and you could state this is for emergency lighting, and you can continue to place it on the market. So this really is a loophole. Something is phased out, but well through the back door you could still place it on the market. I guess this will not happen because this is an almost non-existent market. No fluorescent lamps exclusively for this type of market are being produced, and we clearly point out that this is highly unlikely something like this will happen. And this goes to those manufacturing emergency lights. In a very short period of time, no such lamp will be available. What about high voltage lamps, which include specific materials that are no longer allowed? Well, 2027 high-pressure decharging lamps with metal, vapor and halogen. The same goes for sodium vapor high-pressure lamps. Here there are some exceptions if they only include a very low content of mercury. It's another 5 years. For sodium vapor high-pressure lamps, it depends on the color rendering. Some exceeding RA60, for example, or RA80, they will be phased out after 5 years. And we have to wait and see what will happen during this period of time. Whether or not people will request for an exception, we don't know, because we are aware of the fact that in many areas LED is gaining in importance. If LED is more economical than traditional lighting technologies, probably no exceptions will be granted for this type of lamp that you see here, because the intention is to reduce the mercury available on the market, and in the medium term, of course, we still want to save energy. Now, we say it's high time to take action. Licht.de publishes a lot of information on our homepage. Members also spread information. And if you have not looked into this matter so far, maybe you should inspect your workshop, your offices, and find out what kind of lamps am I using. Very often it's surprising to see that there are old light fixtures dating back 5, 10, 15 years, and you have to find out what kind of fluorescent lamps are these. Do I have to take action? For how long have I been using this light? Is it maybe a T5 I only installed 5 years ago? To replace this or throw it in the bin does not make any sense economically speaking. Maybe you can then use a substitute lighting fixtures if it's okay with your lighting technology. And the second thing is, how much energy does my lighting consume? You need to come up with a checklist and understand what do I use, what about the average service life, and then you need to understand how much energy can I save if I replace these lamps with different lamps. So a replacing one lamp by another is always relatively simple, However, in case of lighting systems where the illumination is of better quality, which are also equipped with control technology, in this case, maybe you should wonder, isn't this the best solution in the long run, money-wise, but also light quality-wise? All employees in your company would probably benefit from a higher quality lighting. Licht.de, as I said, provides a lot of information, support regarding the analysis, refurbishing opportunities, how to approach this. So I recommend our homepage. Take a look at it, download the information, and ask the manufacturers, our members. Thank you.